Alright, everyone, we are back with some Final Fantasy. We are gonna get on with the story. I knew you'd be alright, and to celebrate your return, I made you this, a brand new traveling outfit. Oh, I do hope it fits. Tataru! But now is not the time to focus on your measurements. I must go and speak with the researchers of Saint um Konex find. I want to say that's right. You go and rest a while. You go and rest while we track down that beacon. Tataru, you shouldn't have. God, I love her. Uh-oh.
My enemy. My friend. Had I been but a step faster. Bloody savages!
Oh! Who the
A
fuck is
pity
this
your hunt
guy?
leads you elsewhere. Not that I am surprised.
Honestly, he sounds like fucking Xenos.
May you find joy in it. Grow stronger, more savage, and savor every triumph. In the
Honestly, he sounds like
meantime,
Xenos.
I will reclaim that which is rightfully mine.
Oh, pretty. I love the blue. The Crystal Tower. I really have a feeling it is the guy that locked himself in there that we are getting ready to see again, who's been calling us from our heads. In the midst of a requiem for heroes, a voice rings out across time and space. In fields of tranquil light. So, okay, I didn't get to read all that. You could pause the video and read it if you didn't. Now, hold on. I want to know what this looks like. Oh, Why do I still have that? I don't need that. Where's the pants? There's the pants. And those I don't need. Alright. We're gonna get the quest, and then I wanna go uh uh get the glamour. Good news, Kikobi. We have we've had a stroke of luck in our search for that beacon. Apparently our colleagues have stumbled across a hidden path leading down into the hollows around the base of the crystal tower. A path I doubted ever have found we'd ever have found had the ironworks and the suns not added their numbers to the party. Thanks to them, we have eager eyes aplenty down there, checking under rocks and peering into every nook and cranny. Still, it sounds like there's a lot of ground to cover. Then we'd better go give him a hand. My thoughts exactly. The sooner we find this beacon, the sooner you can travel to wherever it is this mysterious voice is coming from. And the sooner we can work out how to help our friends. We have to find a way to wake them up, and before the Empire comes calling again, meaning we have no time to lose. There's a boat in North Silvertier waiting to ferry people to the site, so let's be on our way. Oi! Oh, heading to the survey site, madam. It's on the eastern shore of the lake, and the swiftest way to get there is by boat. Or, I could just fly.
Look how many people there are! Should we get to it then? Pick up anything that seems the least bit device-like, and we'll make ourselves a pile.
Well, if it isn't the hero of the hour, maybe you'll change our look. We've found bugger all without you.
Figs! Wedge!
Aye, aye. Well, we could hardly say no to a call for aid from the Scions. Jesse called it the chief of some other business, so we'll be working twice as hard to make up for his not being here.
Thrice as hard, even.
Thank you, both of you. I'm sure we'll find that beacon in no time.
Oh.
I'm not seeing anything out here. Do you reckon you could squeeze in there, Wedge?
And get stuck halfway? No, thank you.
I could try if you like.
Tataru, no! We couldn't ask you to do that.
Oh, I'll be fine. This receptionist is not afraid to get her hands dirty.
Crystal.
Sorry, I meant to say, the scholars haven't finished their preliminary assessment of the site yet, so we're not supposed to venture too far in. What's that you got there? Now that looks promising.
Isn't that the Ironworks symbol? Counterfeiters?
Now I have you.
You are right.
What's happening?
Stay with me. Focus on my voice. Let expanse contract. Eon become instant.
Wait, this must be it. The device. Oh, this is supposed to happen.
Throw wide the gates that we may pass.
Oh, safe journey, warrior of light. Find our friends and bring them home.
And again, we're in the abyss. Hi, Dylan.
The dawn's light will shine again.
Oh, do not look at me so.
You're slaves to a tyrant! There's no freedom in that!
This is one battle you cannot fight. Away with you! I must say, your spirited approach always comes.
We did everything right. Everything that was asked of us, and still it came to this.
Are we dead?
Your time has not yet come.
Menphelia. Um... him. Again?
From endless dreams I awake. Something vague, yet urgent, calls me to action once more.
Imperial.
Rare to meet someone out here who's not a peddler themselves. What brings you into the wilds this time of night?
Night.
Well, if it ain't the oldest joke in the book. Me grandad, God's rest his soul, used to tell that one to the barman at kicking out time. And when, pray tell, did we last have a dark night? You rotten old drunk, ye, he'd reply. Yeah. Over 100 bleeding years ago, that's when. You got that look down to a T. I'd almost think you meant it. Ah, got to you, did they? Poor beggar. That explains it then. Well, I've roads to travel and wares to sell, but you'd best hurry along to the town nearby. Just head east through the trees and aim for the Shining Tower. You'll find the place soon enough. 'Tis the biggest settlement for malms around. Go on now, friend. They'll take good care of you in the Crystarium.
Crystarium.
To dizzying heights it rises. The gleaming spire.
The Crystal Tower.
Its tips threatening to pierce the blinding canopy. There, it will all begin anew. Between dark and light. The pure and the corrupt. The one true struggle.
Give me a second, guys. Alright, well, Twitch just wants to be a fucking ass. Whoa. Give me a second. I need to fix this. Alright. Now. Oh, and I don't have my mounts. Oh, that's gonna suck. I've gotta run across this entire area. You're kidding me. Oh, that is so bullshit. Okay.
Halt! Every face in this city I know. Yours, I do not. This is the threshold of the Crystarium, stranger, and I am its gatekeeper. If you would enter, you will answer my questions.
Okay.
From where do you hail? The source? What is this cryptic nonsense? Had you given me an honest answer, I would not have barred your way. We care little here for a person's place of origin. But instead, you chose concealment. And I will not suffer you to pass. Ha!
What the fuck?
That one had eaten. It must have gulped down the whole hand. Ring and all.
Oh god.
Everything all right, Captain?
Quite all right, my lord. Just a stray sin eater, and a weak one at that.
I see. Weak or not, we should be on the lookout for more. But I see you've met my guest. I will escort her to the Crystarium myself, if you've no objections.
Another of your mysterious friends, is it? I should have known. Very well. I'll inform the others your guest is to be given the run of the city. Pray forgive my less than cordial welcome. May the rest of your stay with us be a pleasant one.
Come with me. I will answer whatever questions you have when we are somewhere more private.
What the fuck is happening?
Right then, before we plunge into the wheres and wherefores, let me first thank you for answering my summons.
Well, kinda didn't have a choice.
I had intended to bring you directly to my personal quarters, but I fear my aim was slightly off. That you are still able to make the crossing unharmed is a great relief. And so, we come to the question of where. The realm in which you now find yourself belongs to one of the 13 reflections, or shards. The first, to be precise, even if its inhabitants are largely oblivious to the fact. As to wherefore, having been awarded the rather grandiose title of Crystal Exarch, I, in my capacity as caretaker of the Crystarium, thought to seek the aid of you and your companions. An inkling, yes. I can only beg your forgiveness. Matters here forced my hand. But all shall be explained in due course, I promise you.
Well, it fucking better be.
Let us begin with the glaring skies up above. Here in the first, the world has been all but consumed by primordial light. It began a century ago, by this realm's reckoning. A luminous flood swallowing everything in its path. More than 9/10 of this star was lost. And the fortunate few who survived are hounded by abominations born of that catastrophe even now. Sin Eaters, we call them. The creature you saw earlier was one such monstrosity. It was to save the first from this menace that I learned to bridge the rift between worlds. That I might call upon the aid of the greatest of heroes.
But how did you hear about us?
And though it meant depriving a world of its champion, I had to try, for in saving the first, you would bring salvation to the source as well. But what manner of host harangues his guests in the middle of the road? Let us continue our talk within the Crystarium.
I'm still very, very confused. Are the other Scions here?
Such a proud and vibrant city. The sole sanctuary for the living in a world all but resigned to oblivion. Each stone was laid with hope. The town itself a symbol. A monument to defiance in the face of death. No would-be hero could fail to answer its call. For who among us does not yearn for salvation?
And here we are. Welcome, my friend, to the Crystarium. Now, a full and frank discussion in the privacy of my study would seem to be in order. Yeah. But I think our conversation would be more meaningful were you first to gain a firmer grasp of the situation here. To that end, I would like you to visit a few of the Castrum's civic leaders and glean something of this world and its predicament. As you can see, this path will take you directly to the Aetheryte. A convenience with which I am sure you are only too familiar. Being rightful object of my summoning spell, you should in theory be able to reach all the way back along your etheric trail and find a connection in the source, believe it or not. I strongly suggest you complete this attunement before venturing any further. After you've done so, walk up the steps to the next aetheryte and head out to the left to arrive in the crystalline mean. This is where you'll find our collective of gatherers and crafters, as well as their spokeswoman, catalysts of one of the people I should like you to meet. Jesus, I cannot read. Another is Morin. To reach him and his cabinet of curiosity, you'll want to avoid the aforementioned steps. Take the exit on the left and simply continue straight along down and until you come to the large doors at the end of the path. The third and final person I should like you to meet is Braggy, our man in charge of trade and distribution. He is to be found in the markets, which you can access from the opposite side of the Aetheryte Plaza. In seeking out each of my colleagues, you will visit the major districts of the city and hopefully gain a feel for the place. I trust my directions were simple enough. Ha, very good. I concede the layout of the Crystarium owes more to historic necessity than planning, but I'm sure you'll learn its twists and turns before long. In all honesty, the true challenge may be in finding the right way to approach its citizens. As you discovered during your encounter with the captain, the people of this world are unaware of the existence of other stars and will struggle to accept the truth of your origin. That being the case, when they ask you whence you hail, as they inevitably will, I suggest you claim to share a homeland with the Crystal Exarch. There is an unspoken rule here about peering too deeply into that particular mystery. When you've finished making the rounds, pray meet me in the large courtyard at the center of town. Until then. Alright. By focusing your senses, you detect the flow of vastly distant currents of ether. Your connection to these energies is faint but stable and should allow teleportation to aetherites in the source. Okay. New to the city, friend, the spinning head and wide eyes give you away. Welcome. My name is Braggy, and I'm the master of these markets. They gave the district another official title, but I'm not in the habit of using it. Too floored by half. In any case, our merchants stock a range of equipment for YESS, such as yourself. So finding something in your size shouldn't be a problem. Must be a dialect I'm not familiar with. Jesus. Let's see if we can straighten this out. See those two in front of us? The shorter one is a hume, and the taller one is an elf. That sturdy individual over there is a Galgant, whilst the one with the horns is a Drawn. And then you have the large, scaly chaps with long tails and a knack for raising livestock. Those would be the Zun. Which is apparently not the name you know them by. I'm curious to know which far-flung region you hail from. Ah, the same as Exarth. Eh, well that explains it. You don't get much further flung than that. We've had a flow of your lot pass through in recent years, and despite their obvious learnings, they floundered over the simplest things. But not to worry, should you find yourself confused by the local language or customs, I'll be here to answer your questions. Your exchange with Braggy has taught you about the peoples of the First. Okay. Let's go this way. And attune to this aetheryte shard. Alright. Um. Oh, look at the little carbuncle! Alright, there's an inn in here. I want to go into it. Where am I? There we go. Mender. Hello. Okay. Well, never mind. We'll just go back out here then. Alright. Oh, that's just a wall. Sure. Well, that's a lie unless it's up. Alright. Before we read his one, I will be right back. Alright, we're back. Excuse me, miss. Are you recently come from the city, perchance? I'm quite familiar with our civic roles, you see, and, well, what I mean to ask is, have you brought any books with you? A rumpled scroll, even? A scrap of scribbled on parchment? My apologies. Literature is something of an obsession of mine, as well as a profession. Librarian Morin at your service, and this humble collection is known as the Cabinet of Curiosity. As your powers of perception have likely informed you, my colleagues and I are responsible for curating all manners of tomes, documents, and other vehicles for the written word. As horrific as the loss of life and land wrought by flood unquestionably was, the damage to recorded knowledge was no less catastrophic. We few do all we can to preserve what wisdom survived. But tell me, what brings you to the cabinet today? Looking for any title in particular? Mayhap a spot of academic research? Oh, so you've an interest in modern history. Splendid. A thorough review of our recent events can often yield novel perspectives. I quite agree. If you would prefer something visual to accompany the account, then I think I have the illustrated history book for children somewhere. Just a moment and I'll fetch it for you. Wow, you jerk. And here we are. Would you like to pull up a chair and make yourself more comfortable? On with the lesson then. 100 years ago, or near enough not to matter, villains known as the Warriors of Light slew the Shadow Keeper and slew and Steward of Darkness. Hmm. Welp! In the wake of this tainted deed, light began to pour into the world as if from unseen cracks. It spooled and swelled without cease until the day an enormous blending blinding wave rose up and swept across our star. Even called this calamity we even called this calamity the flood of light. Everything it touched was leached of life and vigor, leaving naught behind but a luminous wasteland. Yet, just when it seemed that it would all be lost, a savior appeared before us. The oracle light she stood twixt us and approached doom, and by her power did she stay the flood. Thus was Northern. Nope. and spared the fate of Erasure. Tragedy would, however, arrive in another form. The blasted emptiness descended, horrors of strange and terrible aspect to bedevil the few folk who survived. These sin eaters were light incarnated, were light incarnate, and their fulgent presence stole the night from the sky. I'm not saying that name. I can't. Even now they circle the remaining bastions of civilization, ever on the hunt for us, ever hungering for our flesh. And thus did the world become what it is. Should you ever wish to hear the tale again, I would be glad to retell it for you. Or if you would rather speak of other matters, that too would be my pleasure. I should be glad of the company. Your exchange with Morn has taught you about the flood of light. Nope, hold on. Docile Gate. Alright, so I got this way. Oh, Lord. I gotta go this way. Wrong place. Damn, how far up do I gotta go? Can I fly? Please? It would be so much easier. Um, Recording node. Rare to see a place so well stocked with goods, is it? But not here. I'm going to guess you're new to our fair city. Well, for what it's worth, you have chosen a fine sanctuary. The Exarch can throw up a barrier even if the Sin Eaters come knocking. So it's a damn sight after. So it's a damn sight safer in here than it is out there. Safer and more civilized too, thanks to us in the mean. We work together to procure materials and resources and craft the goods which make city life possible. This is the place to visit if you need a coat mended or a kettle forged. Just don't go thinking it'll be all handed to you on a plate like those Elmorian layabouts. And the Crystarium we work for a living. Though I see you're no stranger to honest labor, you don't have what whiff of indolence about you like some folk I've met. Still, I can't quite pin down your profession. Where is it from where you're from? One of the Ark's countrymen, you say? I see. Well then, I'll work twice as hard to make you feel welcome. Our city wouldn't even exist if it weren't for him, and any friend of his is a friend of ours. It's really quite incredible when you think about it. They say his grand magic summoned the crystal tower into existence, pulled the entire thing out of thin air. It wasn't long before droves of refugees began congregating around its base, despite for shelter after losing their homes to the flood. And that's how the Crystarium began. Haha. At the Exarch's invitation, buildings started going up, and with the help of some curious relics brought forth from the tower, the place gradually expanded into the thriving metropolis you see today. The city's stood here for decades now, yet the eldest among us swear the Exarch looks exactly the same as he did back then. He is indeed a man of many mysteries, but for all his secrecy, he has never yet let us down. So if he and you wish to remain silent about your shared homeland, then the folk here will respect your wish for privacy. I am, however, a little more curious to see any crafting talent you might be hiding. If you have aught to contribute on that front, be sure to come back and visit once you've had the chance to settle in. Just ask for Catless, and I'll find you in Night Nick, here in the crystalline mean. You can help us keep the cogs of the city greased and turning. Your exchange with Catless has taught you about life in the Caterium. Um, And then I can take that one to the docile gates. Lake Leon is now accessible as an aetheorite destination. Well, how did you fare? Did my colleagues help you form a clearer picture of this world and its people? Yes, it seems you were treated with a most thorough introduction. I understand it was something of a chore, but 'twas necessary that you grasp these things before we proceeded. As for the Crystal Tower's origin, you may have noticed that details were sparse. The structure is, in fact, the selfsame one you know from the source, transported to the first in its entirety. It was my first attempt at breaching the boundaries between worlds, something of a trial run for you. Oh! Something of a trial run for your eventual crossing. And although I do not know which era I tore it from, I do know its arrival served to set in the will's fate in motion. You've done as I requested, and learned something of the world in which you find yourself. Now it's time I fulfilled my half of the bargain and explained what has befallen of your comrades. That is a conversation I would rather have in the privacy of my quarters. However, I must go on ahead to the tower and organize a few things, but I shall see that the guard knows to admit you. Well, yes, of course, it can be opened and closed just like any others. Does that seem strange to you? I know not how the tower functioned in your time, but I assure it is no danger of us being locked inside. Um, you want to come back to my world and find out? See, that's so much lesser than my current gear. I do want to go ahead and take these out because I will be placing them in a chest before ere long. Um, put that. There we go. Crystalarium. Give me a second.
Welcome to the Ocular, my private study. We can speak here without fear of being overheard.
Okay.
I have much to explain, but the truths which I must touch upon in doing so would cause only distress and confusion to the people of this world. Pray keep that in mind. Now, I am sure you are desperate to know the fate of your fellow Scions.
Yes!
To put it simply, they are here in the First. Their arrival, however, was not as recent as you may imagine. Here, time flows at a different pace from that of the Source.
Okay.
In the space of a single hour in your home world, an entire year might pass in the First, and the reverse could also be true. The pace fluctuates without rhyme or reason, and it cannot be predicted. That said, we seem to be entering a period of near equivalence, and thus, for the moment, you need not overly concern yourself with the passage of time. As for your companions, however, Y'shtola and Urianger have dwelled here for 3 winters, all told, while Thancred's count stands at 5. Even our more recent arrivals, Alphinaud and Alizé, have lived in the First for almost a year. My intention had been to summon only you, but the art of reaching across worlds has proven exceedingly difficult to master. Thus it was that my fumbling hand closed upon those to whom your fate is most closely bound as well. As they were not the object of my summons, their transference was incomplete. Though they may appear to possess corporeal bodies, they are, in truth, merely spirits that one can see and touch. Consequently, while you yourself will be able to pass between worlds with relative freedom, they will not. Much as it grieves me, they are stranded here, unable to return.
Fuck.
We spent every waking hour searching for a way to reverse the summoning. In the beginning, at least.
Okay.
As you may have surmised, however, our efforts met with little success. And then we all but abandoned the endeavor once Urianger shared with us the vision he had witnessed during his journey through the rift. In that chaotic no-man's land between realms, time and space warp and blend in unexpected ways. What Urianger saw was the future. That which would one day come to pass. In his vision of tomorrow, the First was rejoined with the Source. This collision of worlds brought about the 8th umbral calamity and the deaths of countless multitudes.
Oh, fuck.
Amongst those who perished, Urianger clearly saw the fall of the Scion's mightiest champion. He watched you die. And thus did the Scions embrace their exile, and began searching this world for a means to forestall the coming catastrophe in yours. Their souls are stranded in the First, yes, but they have fought on, desperate to save their home and you from destruction. Nor have their efforts been in vain, for it was they who finally established that the elimination of the Sin Eaters will indeed serve to prevent the calamity. Considering these circumstances of our meeting, you would be forgiven for doubting my version of events. And so, before all else, I would suggest you track down your comrades and hear the tale from their lips. I shall of course be happy to assist in these reunions, and you need not make any decisions regarding your involvement until you are certain of where you stand. Meanwhile, I promise I will not rest until I have found a way to help your friends return home. What say you? Have I earned your trust for the moment, at least? Excellent. You will not regret this. With that settled, we shall have to see about getting you ready for the road. Traveling across the rift has no doubt left you weary. I will arrange for a room where you might rest in comfort. While it's being prepared, perhaps I can show you around.
Okay. I don't really like where things stand right now. Oh yeah, I summoned your friends, but, because I fucked up, they can't return home. The Crystarium boost a number of residential districts, but I've been informed that a room has just become available at the Pendants. Which, as it turns out, is perfect. Our path there will take us past the markets, and I was hoping to give you my own introduction to their wares. Come along.
This is the Musica Universalis, the commercial heart of the Crystarium. Aught you might need to prepare for your journeys can be purchased here.
Musica Universalis. Jesus, that's a mouthful.
Ah, yes. You must be curious about the currency. Fear not. The gil you carry will serve you well enough. Each nation once minted its own coins, but 'twas all a jumbled mess following the flood. After much debate, the local merchants eventually elected to revert to the old ways, wherein a coin's value was decided by the worth of its metal. As for a unit of measurement, we agreed upon the term gil, a word borrowed from coins uncovered within the Crystal Tower here. And as our traders peddled their wares across the land, so too did our usage of gil become common practice. From what your stola tells me, a standard coin from the source equates to exactly 1 gil here, or near enough not to matter. Our way of life has benefited greatly from the artifacts we recovered from the tower, some of which may be familiar to you.
Magitex. Wait, is that iPhones?
But I fear it would not be practical for us to provide everything to which you are accustomed. You shall need a means to access the commodities of your homeworld. Avan Kerm Sin?
Are you there, my friend?
Yes, I'm here! Of course I'm here! What amusements do you have for me today?
My dear Feo Ul, paragon of pixie kind. For you, I have the most vital task.
She's pretty!
This fine lady is a friend from a distant realm. And we have need of a means to ferry things back and forth from her home. Might you be able to assist us in this matter?
You came from beyond, didn't you? From beyond the rift? How wonderfully exciting! What a brave and reckless and marvellous thing you did! You've the heart of a pixie, you do. After careful consideration, I have decided to grant you my assistance. Make a pact with me and the fun can begin. But answer me this, traveller. Did your garments come with you when you crossed over? Your teeth? Your nails?
Yes.
Just as I thought! Then you've a good stout connection with your home through which all your belongings, great and small, may easily pass. From this moment forth I will be your Isne Fis, and you my Snay Yak. Like the branch which sprouts from the sapling, our bond will flow unbroken from one to the other.
Huh. Okay, calm it down.
Raise your hand.
Oh! What the fuck?
'Tis done. We are bound now, dearest sapling. Come then. Make your request. Tell me your desire. I wish to visit this world of yours.
Mayhap a message to your friends in the Source to inform them of your safe arrival.
Consider it done.
As you heard, that was Feo Ul of the Pixies. Their kind possess an affinity for magic akin to that of arcane beings. They rarely show themselves in populated areas, but Feo is insatiably curious even by pixie standards, and seems to have taken a liking to the Crystarium. Right, we were going to organize a room for you, weren't we? Come along.
As a result of your pact with you now have access to delivery moggles, market boards, and summoning bells while in the first. Oh. Ah, there you are. I was just finalizing the matter of your accommodation. You'll have a private room here in the Pendants for the duration of your stay to make use of it as you see fit. When you are ready to retire, the manager will show you to your lodgings. Pray rest and recuperate, and we shall reconvene in the Oscular anon. I believe that covers all the practical concerns. Thank you for answering my call, Kokobi. We were denied the comforting blanket of night, but may peaceful dreams attend you nonetheless. A pleasant to meet you. A pleasure to meet you, miss, and welcome to your new home at the Pendants. Your room is ready if you'd care to retire. Oh. I get my own apartment!
you.
I know you. You're the warrior of light from the source.
The warrior of darkness.
What? Did you just... You can hear me?
Yes!
Oh, gods, how long has it been? That was what I called myself in your world. The warrior of darkness. My real name is Ardbert. I used an alias in the source. A daft one, looking back. If you recall my tale, it was my comrades and I who caused the flood. We thought our home doomed. And so we listened to the Ascians. Let them guide us to the source, and tried to hasten their goddamned ardor. I remember when we fell, defeated by you and yours. I remember our audience with Minfilia. How she listened to our pleas, and returned our souls to the first. The flood was poised to swallow Norvrant. Minfilia and my friends, they surrendered what little they had left to hold it back. Just faded away, leaving me to bear witness. Tell me, do you know the year? How much time has passed since we caused the flood? 100 years. 100 long years. My hands find no purchase. My gestures catch no eye, and my pleas, be they whispered or screamed, reach not a single ear. I am a shade, cursed to do naught but drift. I feel as if I've been walking forever. I hardly noticed when my mind and body began to fray at the edges. Then bang! My senses were sharp again. I felt like a fish being reeled in, and before I knew it, I found myself in this room. Why is it that you can see me? What are you even doing here, come to that? You were summoned to save the first. A waste of time. This world is beyond saving, like those who tried to save it. Muddled as my mind may be, I've not forgotten that. But if fate has brought me to you, the one person in this god's-forsaken world who can see and hear me, then perhaps there is a reason I endured. If I can find out why I was left behind, then maybe I can bring this journey of mine to an end. Well, I'll be watching, Warrior of Light. But do me a favor. Be careful out there. This world has had its fill of heroes.
Okay then. Thank you, but I actually want to go back in. Um, actually. Other... Um... There we go. There we go. Everything is repaired now. And then I need to go back to Docile Games. There we go.
Ah, how did you find your new quarters? I trust you were able to rest? I was not aware the room was haunted, and you were rather tired. Well, should you receive another visitation, be sure to let me know. Now, let us return to the subject of the Scion's whereabouts. This map shows the lands of Norvrand, the only area to be spared the Flood of Light.
Why does this look like our homeland?
The Crystarium is here, in the region known as Lakeland.
Okay.
To the north is the fairy kingdom of Il-Meg. That is where you'll find Urianger. To the east lies the once prosperous civilization of Rak-Tika. Your Stola is stationed there, in the heart of the forest.
Naturally.
Alas, neither location can be reached without considerable difficulty. As such, I would suggest you first seek out one of the twins, each of whom is stationed but a short flight from the Crystarium. Alphino is on Calusia, an island off the western shore. It is home to a city called Yulmore, where the rich and privileged while away their days in idleness. For his part in furthering our cause, Alphino journeyed there to meet with the citizenry and forge alliances. From what I hear, he has since kept himself busy gathering information around the main settlement. Alize, meanwhile, traveled south to the arid wastes of Armorang. They lie upon the very edge of the inhabitable world, where the Flood of Light was halted. Those who dwell there live in constant fear of attack by the Sin Eaters. In contrast to her brother, Alize felt that her energies would better be spent learning about the enemy, and thus she sells her services as a guard, both to hone her skills and gather information on our foe.
Okay.
So, will it be Calicia or Armorang? It matters not which you choose to visit first.
But that's 4 of the 5.
Simply inform me once you have made your decision, and I will see to it that you are provided with a suitable mount. Ah, but you must be wondering about Thancred. He has taken up with a new companion, and is presently engaged as a wandering hunter of Sin Eaters. Being ever on the move, his whereabouts are often difficult to ascertain, but I am certain your paths will cross ere long.
Okay. You'll visit Alphino in... I'm not even gonna pronounce these words, because Nope, just not even gonna try. Excellent. As I mentioned, your destination is an island off the west coast, so you will need a mount capable of making the journey. Here is a letter of introduction presented to Sazim Jinmai, the master of beasts at Temino's Rookery. Why do these have to be so difficult to pronounce? He will take care of you. And when you see Alphino, be sure to pass on my warmest regards. Ready to depart for Arang? Alize will be overjoyed to see you safe. I know she was particularly concerned for your well-being. She, impressed upon me how regrettable the timing of her summoning was. Repeatedly. Yeah, she'll do that. I only hope that my part in sending you to her will garner me some measure of forgiveness. Here, this is a letter of introduction addressed to a man named Cassard, the master of a merchant caravan. There are few who know the ways of the desert as well as he does. Find him at the Amara launch, and he will see that you reach your destination. So who do we go see first? Alize or Alphino? I kind of want to go see Alphino. Just because of everything that's happened. Like, yeah, Alize, I love her to death, but she was also the last one to go, and Alphino's been missing for some time. Aw. Your face is unknown to me. What business do you have at my rookery? Signed by the Exarch, no less. Yes, I can provide you with an armaro or passage. I will pick you out a friendly whelp. That's right. Mounts like my gray friend over there are a common sight in these parts. But I gather you hail from a further field, more accustomed to chocobos, perchance. I hear there are a few places where they ride little else. Seeing as you are plainly unaccustomed to riding a Morrow, I think I best accompany you on this flight myself. Any Zan worthy of the name could do it, of course, but the Exarch sent you to me, ensuring you arrive safely is my responsibility. Gather your things and meet me at the Armala launch. One of the junior tamers will attend to you while I ready the mounts. In order to be, okay. Well, that will be like way later then. Armala launch. Oh, a friend of Exarch. Hoping to meet someone in Ama-Arang, are you? Then I shall be your guide. I was about to set off for our outpost there, as a matter of fact, so we can leave right away, assuming you have everything you need. I still want to go see Alphino first. Wait here, please. The master should be along with the mount shortly. You can now travel to the, speak with the aspirant to fly to the island. Okay. You can also use Aether Compass to assist with locating Aether currents in new regions. Should you lose this compass, speak with to attain another. Lost compasses can also be replaced by seeking with Gibralont at the Forgotten Knight in the Foundation back in Ishgard.
The whistling breeze, mute. The pounding surf, frozen. Time itself takes a breath. At light's edge, all is perfectly still. The world captured in a painting, locked in a moment. Music, faint and fleeting, drifts coastward on the lifeless air. And in the distance, beyond the broken earth, a city beckons.
We are arrived. This is the Cracked Shell Beach on the eastern coast. You should be safe here for the present. Compared to the mainland, Sin Eater attacks are far less prevalent, and the native beasts are not any more dangerous than anywhere else. Than elsewhere, sorry. It is the people you should be wary of. Spy that city in the distance. That is Elmore, the island's main settlement. It rivals the Crystarium in scale and was once an ally in our battle against the abominations. For years, the Elmorian elite have fancied themselves the masters of what remains of our broken world, and they have gone as far as to offer the leaders of other settlements their protection if we bend the knee. But to say their ideas are questionable would be putting it mildly. The Caterium is one among many who resist their heavy-handed authority, and while we are not at war, our relationship with Elmore is strained at best. It may be wise to cancel your ties with the Exarch believing during your stay here, especially in the vicinity of the city. I am glad we understand each other. Now the Exarch has introduced me to divulge a secret that should make finding your friend a good deal easier. Listen closely. You're creepy. If you head south along the coast, you'll eventually come to a fisherman's shack. A friend of the Castarium lives there, a man who goes by the name of Ebor. Ebor keeps an eye on everything that happens and will be able to point you in the right direction. Just hand him a sprig of thyme that will let him know you can be trusted. Here, this should be enough. Find your friend. I will stay here with the Armo until you are ready to return. Thank you. I can't go that way. You know what? I'm gonna go up here. What are you? You're a creepy goblin-looking thingy. Hobgoblin. Well, I guess that would put me in right. Ebor! What you after? Fish? Crab? I think I've got an eel in a barrel somewhere if you've got a taste for him. If you have a taste for him, yeah. No. Thanks. Oh, I do love a bit of thyme. Chuck some in the pan, and it's a bloody festival of flavor. Now, what is it I can do for you? Can't say there's been any major upsets to report the past few weeks. Alphino, eh? I know the one. Our young companion of the downtrodden. Elmore's richer than uh than all put together. But it's a different story for them as they live outside the city, must spend every waking moment trying to stay alive, which makes your friend's dedication to helping others stand out all the more. I can hazard a guess as to where he is now, get a message to him, but you'll need somewhere quiet to meet, away from prying eyes. Make for Stilltide. That's the fishing village just up the path from here. You're looking for a run-down excuse of a tavern the locals call Leaky Keel. Wait there and I'll see that Alphina joins you. Um, in here? Eva, is this your first time in a tavern? It's customary to buy a drink if you mean to lauder. What'll you be having? A fine choice. And what you'll be paying with? Well, now those are exotic. Where did you come by coins like that? I'm sorry, dear. I don't doubt that they have value, but I have a touchstone to test their purity, and I'm not about to go begging for one from the neighbors. So we'll just have to come to some other agreement. Here's an idea. There's a common to the north where we grow our vegetables, but lastly, the pests have been eating more of them than we have. What do you say to a bit of extermination work? I want you to squash any vermin you find, then visit the caretaker and give him an earful for me for sleeping on the job. He will be in the old silo next to the fence, snoring like as not. Do that for me, and you can laze about here as long as you like. Eh, eh, eh. Okay. Whiptail. Nope. Alright, there's one. And she said he would be in the silo. You hear a faint squeaking from the room beyond. Time to burst in and save the day, brave adventurer. No one is home, and judging by the lack of furniture, they haven't been for some time. The gnawed scraps of vegetables on the floor suggest rats have taken up residence in their absence. Um, Oh, hey. Um, game's being weird. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to end it here. Something's going on with the internet, and I will be back here in about hour and a half. But thank you guys for joining. If you haven't followed me, please do. It'll help me out a lot. If you haven't joined my Discord, it's down below. Type !_ Discord in chat. It'll take you to either mine or Kingdom Enigmas. Kingdom Enigmas is a streaming community I've joined. They're amazing. Could give them a follow. We're trying to get 2 from 2 affiliate